Hello goons and goonettes, we have returned to cinema as Black Widow from Marvel Studios is their first movie back after 2 years, and its advance tickets selling out way more than any movie in the past year. That's crazy. People have been waiting for this movie for so long and it finally comes out. For me, I lost excitement when I was waiting, and you may call that being impatient. Well, I call it... Okay, fine, being impatient. It's just that the movie has been done for months, but Disney and Marvel kept pushing it back and it was getting annoying since other movies were coming out during the pandemic, like Mulan, Soul, Luca, Raya and the Last Dragon. And then I was starting to think if the movie had anything to show that would help the MCU move forward, considering, well, Black Widow dying in Endgame. But the movie is here, finally. Spending $30 on Disney Plus, you get Black Widow, and I say it's worth the $30, to say the least. If you're a really true Marvel fan, and that's the least I can say. Some non-spoiler mentions I have about the movie is that it's got the best opening credits I've ever seen, some very interesting choreography, and a great family dynamic with Natasha, Velena, Melina, and Alexei. And it's all evenly paced. Anyways, gotta get into spoilers, so spoilers ahead, people. Going back to the intro sequence, it was definitely the most interesting introduction out of every Marvel movie. Basically, the movie gives the feeling, oh my god, we're finally seeing a type of origin for Black Widow. Throughout the MCU, it's only been hinted that Natasha's gone through trauma and we never learn about her family. Until now? Question mark? It's her adopted family, and the parents, well, aren't exactly parents at all and clearly never wanted to be. Then we get to the movie. Alright, where is this going? I don't know. This movie's plot is the most underwhelming out of the entire MCU catalog. The action and the energy of the cast is able to keep you interested. Basically, the cast carrying the movie. But the plot does nothing. It's because the plot is just very off to the side. It feels like it should have come out during Phase 3 other than the end credit scene. It just ends up being very bland, like, where's this going? And asking what's the point when we know Natasha dies in Endgame. Like the movie gives that feeling, hey, this is closure for Black Widow. Well, that's kind of weird because we know that she dies in Endgame. That would be her closure. But no, they're treating this movie as her closure and her unfinished business. And, well, it happened way before. It's not like she's a ghost in this movie who came back to do her unfinished business. This movie should have come out before Endgame, because that would make her closure in Endgame way better than it gave the feeling before. Again, everything else about this movie is perfectly fine with its action, family dynamic, and cast, but the plot is the least interesting, and it gives the weird context to Natasha and Clint talking about the Budapest mission in the past movies. Oh yeah, remember Budapest? Oh yeah, the mission where I blew up a child. Anyways, let's get to the plot. So this guy that founded the Red Room, where Natasha was traumatized and basically trained to be a killer assassin, apparently he didn't die from that Budapest mission where Natasha blew up a child. And so basically there's still a bunch of Black Widows roaming around the world and he's still controlling them. And that's Natasha's unfinished business. And this is during the aftermath of Civil War, in which she's running away from the government and basically has no contact with the other Avengers. And so while Natasha's on the run, she receives a mysterious package. She doesn't know what it is, but apparently it's from Budapest. And then later that night when she goes into town, she is attacked by Taskmaster, a long-awaited villain to be brought in the MCU by fans. We'll get to her. So Natasha goes to Budapest and she finds Elena, her adopted younger sister. And in order to bring down the Red Room once and for all, they had to bring the team back together. Sort of. They were never together in action fighting for the same goals before, but you know. they were family before, and now they split, but gotta bring the family back together. Natasha, Yelena, Alexei, Milena. So Natasha and Yelena broke Alexei out of jail, and it was a pretty cool scene, to say the most part. I mean, again, it's got some interesting choreography, and it looked pretty fine to me. And then afterwards, they go meet up with Milena. Basically, we got this whole scene of like, aren't we family? No? Okay. Then they were attacked and brought to the Red Room, which apparently was in the sky, and that's why nobody has been able to find it. So with the family going up in the sky in the Red Room, Natasha beforehand discussed a plan with Milena, in which was able to help them bring down the Red Room. Throughout this whole sequence where Natasha has to talk with Dragunov and yada yada la, they bring down the Red Room, then Taskmaster, we'll get to her, and so they bring down the Red Room, all the Black Widows are free, and Natasha goes back on the run without Alexei, Milena, Yelena, but Natasha takes Yelena's vest, which we find out that it's actually the vest that Natasha was wearing in Infinity War. Wow, continuity. And so Natasha is given a jet to help break out the rest of the ex-Avengers out of jail. And it's actually the jet that was used in Infinity War to rescue Vision and Wanda. So, wow, continuity. And that's the end of the movie. Then the post-credit scenes happen. Yelena visits Natasha's grave. And then, whoa, it's Valentina from the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. What's she doing here? Oh no, she's making Yelena think that Clint Barton killed Natasha. That's not true. Oh no, that means Yelena's gonna be in Dark Avengers, yeah. And that's really the only thing in the movie that helps move forward the MCU. Basically, throughout the whole movie, it's not really pulling you in for the plot. All it has is the cool action and the great cast energy, but the plot does nothing to pull you in for the ride of the movie, because we already know what happens in Endgame. And I know the advertisement, the promotion is treating this as Natasha's unfinished business, but it's not like she's coming back as a ghost in this movie. It's before she dies in Endgame. And even Scarlett Johansson has come out and said this movie has brought some closure to her character. And for her, basically. But it's not like it's happening after Endgame. It's just happening before it. And we know what happens. The closure should have been her death, which would have been much more justified beforehand. Also, we can't forget to mention Taskmaster was wasted in this movie. I never read the comic books, but I can tell when a character is properly utilized or not. Taskmaster was not properly utilized. First off, they aren't even comic accurate. They don't have the photo memory ability to use when learning about superheroes' abilities. Rather, it's just technology. Also, just basically feeling underused with no personality, like no dialogue. Taskmaster is actually being controlled by Dragunov, in which it ruins the fun of the character in a way. I hope this isn't Marvel's official Taskmaster, because Taskmaster was way underused as a character. They basically pulled a Mandarin. Then with other characters, Alexei and Milena were interesting. They were interesting to learn about. I enjoyed Yelena way more than I thought I would. Again, Black Widow has the great Marvel action and wit, but nothing was pulling me in for the story. Just felt like a waste of time, even though it brought proper closure to Black Widow. But then again, it should have come out before Endgame and Infinity War. That way the proper closure is in Endgame, which is Natasha's death. I feel like that would have been way better. But hey, opinion alert, 6.5 out of 10. It's almost fine wine. Just wish it came out before Infinity War. Well, I guess next on the board of the Ultimate Marvel year is the finale of Loki on Wednesday. So don't forget to subscribe to see a 4 Aces commentary episode on Loki this Saturday. I also do other things like skits and music. I got a single coming out soon and it's available to be pre-saved or pre-ordered. Overall, hit the like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and that is all.